2:30 de la tarde tiempo del Este, 11:30 de la mañana Pacífico y junto a un equipo de primera, el equipo mundialista de fútbol de primera, la radio del Mundial.
Falta cada vez menos para el inicio de la Copa del Mundo de la FIFA, Estados Unidos, México y Canadá 2026.
La espera terminó, la hora de la verdad ha llegado. Fútbol de primera, la radio del Mundial inicia su séptima cobertura mundialista en exclusiva, en español, para todos los Estados Unidos.
El equipo sudafricano para esperar a México por ahora no presiona. Estamos en Fútbol de primera, la radio del Mundial cuando se...
El jueves 11 de junio, en vivo, directamente desde el Estadio Azteca, la jornada inaugural de la 23ª edición de la Copa del Mundo, Estados Unidos, México y Canadá 2026, con el partido entre las selecciones de México y Sudáfrica.
Con el área, vale para Franco, la baja con el pecho, viene, tapa el remate, Cubé, tapa el remate.
Viva la gran fiesta del fútbol, desde las 2:30 de la tarde tiempo del Este, 11:30 de la mañana Pacífico y junto a un equipo de primera, el equipo mundialista de fútbol de primera, la radio del Mundial.
Falta cada vez menos para el inicio de la Copa del Mundo de la FIFA, Estados Unidos, México y Canadá 2026.
La espera terminó, la hora de la verdad ha llegado. Fútbol de primera, la radio del Mundial inicia su séptima cobertura mundialista en exclusiva, en español, para todos los Estados Unidos.
El equipo sudafricano para esperar a México por ahora no presiona. Estamos en Fútbol de primera, la radio del Mundial cuando se...
El jueves 11 de junio, en vivo, directamente desde el Estadio Azteca, la jornada inaugural de la 23ª edición de la Copa del Mundo, Estados Unidos, México y Canadá 2026, con el partido entre las selecciones de México y Sudáfrica.
Con el área, vale para Franco, la baja con el pecho, viene, tapa el remate, Cubé, tapa el remate.
Viva la gran fiesta del fútbol, desde las 2:30 de la tarde tiempo del Este, 11:30 de la mañana Pacífico y junto a un equipo de primera, el equipo mundialista de fútbol de primera, la radio del Mundial.
Falta cada vez menos para el inicio de la Copa del Mundo de la FIFA, Estados Unidos, México y Canadá 2026.
La espera terminó, la hora de la verdad ha llegado. Fútbol de primera, la radio del Mundial inicia su séptima cobertura mundialista en exclusiva, en español, para todos los Estados Unidos.
El equipo sudafricano para esperar a México por ahora no presiona. Estamos en Fútbol de primera, la radio del Mundial cuando se...
El jueves 11 de junio, en vivo, directamente desde el Estadio Azteca, la jornada inaugural de la 23ª edición de la Copa del Mundo, Estados Unidos, México y Canadá 2026, con el partido entre las selecciones de México y Sudáfrica.
Con el área, vale para Franco, la baja con el pecho, viene, tapa el remate, Cubé, tapa el remate.
Viva la gran fiesta del fútbol, desde las 2:30 de la tarde tiempo del Este, 11:30 de la mañana Pacífico y junto a un equipo de primera, el equipo mundialista de fútbol de primera, la radio del Mundial.
Falta cada vez menos para el inicio de la Copa del Mundo de la FIFA, Estados Unidos, México y Canadá 2026.
La espera terminó, la hora de la verdad ha llegado. Fútbol de primera, la radio del Mundial inicia su séptima cobertura mundialista en exclusiva, en español, para todos los Estados Unidos.
El equipo sudafricano para esperar a México por ahora no presiona. Estamos en Fútbol de primera, la radio del Mundial cuando se...
El jueves 11 de junio, en vivo, directamente desde el Estadio Azteca, la jornada inaugural de la 23ª edición de la Copa del Mundo, Estados Unidos, México y Canadá 2026, con el partido entre las selecciones de México y Sudáfrica.
Con el área, vale para Franco, la baja con el pecho, viene, tapa el remate, Cubé, tapa el remate.
Viva la gran fiesta del fútbol, desde las 2:30 de la tarde tiempo del Este, 11:30 de la
surface, and it was like a Catherine wheel around the FIFA logo. And then off the roof of the stadium here at the Azteca, fireworks, smoke bombs, call it what you want, but in the colours of the Mexico flag, so green, white and red, and that must look incredibly effective from the aerial shots above the stadium.
And it did, and at the same time Infantino was pictured on the screens in the stadium, putting the World Cup on the plinth in the legendary Azteca. Dean, for the moment, thank you very much. More from Dean a little bit later on. Here we go then. Months, years of talking can now come to an end. The 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup is moments away from getting underway. The teams are coming out of the tunnel, led by the officials. Mexico, one of the three hosts, taking on South Africa, a repeat of the opening match from 16 years ago. Time does fly, and in the stadium for us, in the Azteca, Chris Sutton and our correspondent John Murray.
And rather fittingly, that red, white and green smoke hangs in the air inside the bowl of the Azteca Stadium, the colours of the Mexican flag. And we're about to witness the brand new pre-match ceremony. So normally we're used to seeing only the 11 players who will start from both teams lining up shoulder to shoulder. This all new for World Cup 2026. All of the squad is coming out, all 26 of them. So those huge flags are in place in each half. Absolutely massive they are. South Africa to the right as we look here.
Pour la Coupe du Monde, vous le voyez là. Donc ils ont répondu.
A beautiful country everywhere.
Center circle, background of blue, FIFA World Cup 2026 written on it in gold, and then the world map in the middle with USA, Canada and Mexico highlighted. And the flags will be raised from the center circle up high above the playing surface as the national anthems are played. And first of all, it will be the South Africa anthem sung by the South African singer, Tyler.
Difficult to get the ball off, though. If it works, it's almost high risk. If it comes off, we can pass through anyone. Conversely, if it kind of breaks down, a little bit nervous, a little bit edgy, then the turnover possession is fairly high. So it'd be really interesting to see if we're going to sit back a little bit and try and catch Mexico on the break. But what is interesting about the Mexico coach is that he was the manager of Egypt, who we knocked out in the 2019 African Cup of Nations in Cairo, when it's similar to this, there was not much expected of us, so he'll be very wary of our threats.
They're bringing out now the three host nation flags together. I did wonder how they were going to do this, actually, John Murray.
Yes, because they had them lined up. Canada first, then Mexico, then the USA. But they did actually, the three flag bearers walk onto the pitch together and they stand shoulder to shoulder. Then Canada steps forward first. USA flag gets a big boo, and now it's the Mexico flag. And the final flag bearer completes the circle around that blue globe on the centre circle. The flag bearers all lean their flags towards the stage in the middle, and on the stage stands Andrea Bocelli.
And as they continue that opening ceremony, we are 12 minutes away from kickoff from the opening match of the 2026.
Will be a part, although I have to say, normally it's 30 degrees, isn't it, for a water break, and it's nothing like 30 degrees here. It's pleasant mid-20s.
But presumably every game has to follow the same protocol, does it?
I am thinking probably so.
What if there's a cold front, though?
Well, I know, yeah. Where's Dale Johnson when you need him? Maybe.
En sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón y
but also Edson Álvarez didn't play so many minutes in the last 6 months with Fenerbahce. And the same thing is with Santiago Jimenez, which is also one of the biggest players. He plays in Italy for AC Milan in the Serie A, and he also played only 180 minutes in the last 6 months. So very, very poor minutes from these two big players from the Mexican team.
Do you know what the Cesar Montes's nickname is? Have you got that in your notes, John?
Yeah, I have.
El Cachorro.
El Cachorro, yes.
Yeah. El Cachorro, which means like puppy, a puppy dog.
Yeah, not Poppy the flower.
No, puppy.
Puppy, yeah. Yes. I just wanted to make sure, because we've had issues, haven't we?
We have had issues. Moving on, Jorge Campos, arguably one of the most recognisable former Mexico players, made his name at USA 94, really remembered for his goalkeeping jerseys there. He's been talking to Steve Crossman this week.
After I retired 20 years ago, or 30, 25, it's hard to understand why. Sometimes I said it's the colors, it's the uniform. So it's exciting sometimes, but sometimes I don't understand. I think sometimes my style, because people now, the players,
All smoke bombs go off. We've had a fly past. The Mexican Air Force have just flown over the Azteca, and they've spewed out red, white and green as well. There's no mistaking where we are, Chris.
It's some atmosphere, some occasion.
Oh, helicopters have appeared. Helicopters carrying the flag of Mexico. 2 helicopters making their way above the Azteca, and a huge Mexican flag flapping away, held by a cord from the lead helicopter. Amazing. This is what it's all about. This is the World Cup.
Yeah, and let's hope the match is similar than all the build-up. I mean, the stadium, first of all, just absolutely fabulous. What an arena to play your football in. When the World Cup starts, the talking stops. I think the players will be looking forward to getting the games underway, and Group A is fascinating. I think it's so evenly poised. But you think, you know, the host nation, Mexico, in front of their own fans in their own backyard, they want to get off to a flyer.
Look now, everyone's throwing their sombreros in the air. Thousands of them are coming down on us. All around the stadium. These sombreros, these flat pieces of cardboard with a hole in the middle that make it look like you're wearing a sombrero. People are throwing them like frisbees, and they're flying all around the Azteca Stadium. What a scene. Well, we had toilet rolls in Madrid.
Exactly.
We've got sombreros in Mexico City.
Which do you prefer, John?
You know, I think it's a score draw. Well, I'm pleased to say as well that listeners to the World Service are joining us. This is going live to Sub-Saharan Africa, and quite right too when it's the World Cup. This is the opening match. It's Mexico against South Africa, and stand by for 39 days of, I hope, I trust, stunning coverage from BBC Radio, on BBC Sounds, on the World Service, and also right across the BBC on all of the many and varied platforms. BBC website, on the television, and indeed almost everywhere you'll look on the media you will find the BBC across this. The teams for this opening match: Mexico with Rangel in goal and Shaw on the bench. Back four of Reyes, Montes the captain, Vasquez and Gallardo. Then in midfield, Lira with Roberto Alvarado and Alvaro Fidalgo either side of him, so no place in the starting lineup for Edson Alvarez. Then Brian Gutierrez, Julian Quiñones, and then the former Fulham man, as he is now, having just signed for Wolves, Raúl Jiménez, starting a World Cup match for the very first time, having just turned 35. And South Africa, as we were hearing a little earlier from Dean Furman, very much a South African-based team, with 6 players from the Mamelodi Sundowns, 1 from Orlando Pirates in the starting lineup, as well as 1 Premier League player in Lyle Foster. They have the captain, Ronwen Williams, in goal, who we heard from earlier. 3 central defenders, Okon, Sapisi and Mbukazi. Then Mudeo on the right, Madiba on the left as the wing-backs. In the middle, Sitole with Jaden Adams and Tebo Mokoena either side of him. And then Ikram Reyners and Lyle Foster. So we're about ready to go. The smoke is drifting away out of the magnificent Aztec Stadium. Today this stadium becomes the first to stage 3 World Cup opening matches. The other 2 ended in draws, by the way. Also, it extends its record as holding the most matches in the World Cup. This is its 20th World Cup match, more than any other World Cup venue. How on earth must the players be feeling down there on the surface with 83,000 people watching on here, but many, many millions more following this around the globe. The World Cup is about to begin. Group A is about to begin. The Brazilian referee, Wilton Sampaio, stands. Mexico, green shirts, white shorts, red socks. South Africa in the almost all-yellow kit with the green numbers. And walking forward into the centre circle, it is going to be Brian Gutierrez, Mexico's number 26, who will get the first touch of the ball. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon here in Mexico City. It's Thursday, the 11th of June, 2026, and this is where the 23rd Men's World Cup Finals tournament begins. Brian Gutierrez passes the ball back into central defence, and the Azteca gives this World Cup a great ovation to get underway. The very first World Cup to be hosted by 3 different countries. And the Olays begin, and sitting to my left, even Chris Sutton has a sombrero on his head. Chris, you've bought into it.
Yeah, and I'm going to keep it. It's free, it landed on my head and it's going to stay there, John. But I can't wait for this, really can't. I mean, what's going to be fascinating with this game is the Mexican team. Are they going to feel burdened by this big crowd, or are they going to feel bold?
Yeah, well, they've got the ball on the right-hand side with their right-back Reyes, and they go into the centre circle where it's taken down by Johan Vasquez, who has a wonderful left-sided central defender. Now Quiñones is going to play it back towards the halfway line. As I say, Mexico playing from left to right. Their coach, the experienced Javier Aguirre, 67 years old, although he's a youngster compared to the South African coach, Hugo Broos, who at 74 years old today becomes the oldest coach in the history of the World Cup Finals, but he won't hold it for long.
Yeah, that'll change pretty quickly. Will it change twice quickly?
It will change twice quickly, because the Czech coach and then Dick Advocat with Curaçao will swiftly supersede him. But he's got a bit of history for a few days. South Africa get the ball back for the first time, Jaden Adams, and you can hear the sound that has brought from the Aztec Stadium. Yesterday, Chris, when we were talking on 5 Live, you know, I wasn't entirely sure what the atmosphere would be like, because so many people here in this city have been disappointed. They couldn't afford to come here. But those who have, honestly, there are thousands and thousands of replica Mexico shirts in the stands, and they are making this atmosphere special.
Yeah, you talk about replica shirts in the coffee shop this morning where we got a coffee first thing. There were Mexican replica shirts being worn by the staff, and yeah, I think World Cup fever has taken over.
Yeah, all of those many and varied issues that have dominated the build-up, well, they've not gone away. They're still very much here at this World Cup, but it is the football now which is, as we say, taking centre stage. That was a poor clearance from Ronwen Williams, the South African captain, the goalkeeper, kicked it straight out of play, so a throw-in to South Africa. Oh, that's a nasty challenge there by the South African number 6, I think it was, Madiba, who really caught the Mexican player as he burst away in field.
Alvarado,
and that challenge from Madiba, that was full on, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Quick throw-in on the inside. Alvarado getting inside Madiba. I'm surprised Madiba in yellow. Didn't see a yellow there.
Free kick to Mexico, so South Africa hold the edge of their penalty area. This is going to be curled in from probably 40 yards out towards the right-hand side. The signal is given, and I think it's going to be a right-footed delivery, but there is a possibility of a left from Alvarado, who's okay after that challenge. Actually, the shot is taken on by Gutierrez from 40 yards. Two-man wall, clatters it into the wall, and the ball ricochets off the pitch for a throw-in to Mexico near the halfway line.
Yeah, and Gutierrez is in the Mexican team to bring that bit of guile, but that was really optimistic, wasn't it? It was a long way out there when he went for goal, but it was a tame effort.
Javier Aguirre, the coach, has really lifted the fortunes of the Mexico team. They won the Gold Cup in the United States last year. Mexico attacking down the right, ball to the edge of the penalty area, left foot shot, which is really well saved. It was Fidalgo arriving onto it. He hit it really well, but Ronwen Williams went down and made the save to his right. In fact,
I think it was Jimenez who hit it left-footed. Yeah, clever little cushion header, and then just carried his run on to the edge of the box, and yeah, good ball in from Reyes.
Here's the corner, first of the World Cup. Goalkeeper Williams comes, gets a punch on it, not convincing. It's chipped back in across goal. Defender got ahead to it. It's not away yet, only half cleared. Comes down, and Madiba should clear, but in fact, Mexico's still pressing. Defender Vasquez, but then it breaks away. South Africa are away on the counter-attack. It's up towards Ikram Reyners. Taylor making a run through the middle, and then the ball is played forward, but it actually was easily picked up by goalkeeper Rangel. But in actual fact, if Reyners had been able to run onto that pass from Foster, I think he would have been offside anyway. Yeah,
it made his run a little bit too soon. Well, Foster should have been aware enough to hang on to the ball. I suppose it shows South Africa's threat and game plan. Thought they may play counter-attack football, but pretty lively start from both.
Good effort from Jimenez, just inside the penalty area with his left foot. Hit it good, low, on target. Made the goalkeeper make the save, and I thought it was a very decent save actually with his right hand down low by Williams.
Yeah, it was a good save, getting down to his right-hand side. Good goalkeeper Williams is.
So the World Cup is underway here in the amazing Mexican capital, Mexico City. This sprawling city that just goes on as far as the eye can see. The city is built down in a valley, and we've got volcanoes all around, and on a clear day, and we have had the odd clear day, you can see the volcanoes all around, including the famous Popocatépetl. Mexico bringing the ball out from the back. Gallardo.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about the population of Mexico City on the way in, didn't we? We don't know whether it's the fourth most populous, or I mean, sixth
or the ninth. But it's certainly one of the biggest cities in the world, in the top 20 in terms of population, and it feels it. What a chaotic place this is, but what a great place. The colour, honestly, the spirit and the heart of this World Cup is right here. We don't know what we're going to find in the United States yet, but it's been special in Mexico as Mexico attacked down the left-hand side, and in comes the challenge from Mudeo, and the referee is saying the final touch was off the Mexican player. And it is a goal kick to South Africa, and you can hear how well that's gone down after the run of Gallardo, the left-back.
Yeah, Gallardo played in every game for Mexico in the last World Cup. Disappointing World Cup, went out in the group stages, and I think here on home territory, expectations are pretty high for this Mexican team.
As Mudeo tries to clear it away, but it's charged down, and it's out of play for a throw-in, a goal kick, another goal kick to South Africa. Mexico 0, South Africa 0. Yes, famously, Mexico went out in the round of 16 for 7 consecutive World Cups until they went out at the group stage in 2022. So actually, the last time they won a knockout match at the World Cup was here on home territory in 1986. When they reached the quarter-finals. So the best Mexico have done in the World Cup, quarter-finals twice, both on home turf in 1970 and 1986. South Africa looking to clear it away, famously the hosts, South Africa, back in 2010. It's the first time they've been at the World Cup finals. since then. They've never got out of the group at the tournament, but of course for many years didn't play in the World Cup during the apartheid years. Mexico 0, South Africa 0. Mexico have had as the ball just bounces back into the penalty area down to our right, where Williams plays it out. South Africa lose possession. Chance for Quinones. Right foot, back of the net. Julian Quinones sends the Azteca Stadium into raptures. The host nation score in the first 10 minutes. He's absolutely mobbed by his teammates. He runs to Aguirre. Everyone's cuddling each other. Punched fists in the air. You'd think they'd won the World Cup. It's 1-0 in the opening match against South Africa.
Well, they've been the dominant team, haven't they? Quinones has had a brilliant season, prolific in the Saudi League, 37 in 35 games. South Africa trying to play out from the back. It's a brilliant press from Mexico. And then Quinones, little shift of the ball on the edge of the box, right-footed. One touch, two touches, and bang! Right-footed effort. It actually goes between the goalkeeper's legs. Williams, he may be slightly disappointed, but what a start for marauding Mexico.
South Africa really caught out there, playing it out from the back. How many times do we say that these days? It was not good enough. Central defender caught in possession, and Mexico benefited. And what a start for the home nation. They're going to announce it again. And another cheer. Mexico have scored the first goal of the 2026 World Cup.
Yeah, it's really good pressure, actually. It's a short ball from Williams into Sitoli, the sitting midfielder for South Africa. And the pressure from Eric Lira, the Mexican midfielder, he was all over him. Quinones with the ruthless finish.
Yeah, free kick to Mexico. The halfway line after not a great challenge, and I think the Mexican players are saying to referee Sampaio, what about a yellow card for that one? But he's waving everyone away, and it's the goal scorer Quinones who is on the receiving end of it, and he's just climbing to his feet now. He's not going to need any treatment, but what a moment for him. Julian Quinones, the Mexican number 16. 29-year-old, was actually born in Colombia, but switched international allegiance 3 years ago. And I bet he's pleased he did now. He's be a national hero.
He will be, but mentioned his goals record in the Saudi League is pretty phenomenal, hasn't it? But what a fast start from Mexico, really brave with the press, and South Africa, when Williams did clip the ball up the pitch, they don't have that physicality with Reyners and Lyle Foster as centre-forwards, don't have that height. So they tried to play out from the back at their cost.
Do you know what we're hearing now, Chris? Cielito lindo. We had Mexican journalist Rodrigo on with us before the match, and he said if things go well for Mexico, you will hear Cielito lindo. And we've heard it already, and there are only 11 minutes on the clock. In English, that means a little heaven. And I don't know whether I'll go far yet, Chris, to talk about Mexico, because it was a poor goal for South Africa to concede, but it was magical enough for all of these 80,000 odd Mexicans in this stadium.
It's the start which they demanded and the start which their team have got.
So it's a second corner now. Mexico continue to press, look for a second goal, which even at this stage of this opening match at the World Cup might be too much for South Africa to come back from. Ball curled in, and Jimenez is underneath it, Raul Jimenez, but he could only head it up right into the air. I think he might have got a nudge in the back as well, but it dropped into the gloves of Ronwen Williams, the South African captain, the goalkeeper, who I'm sure will feel that he he could have kept out the shot from Quiñones. He hit it from near the edge of the penalty area. He hit it well enough, but he hit it strong, low, hard, and it was underneath the goalkeeper in a flash.
In fairness, Quiñones in off the left-hand side. He's 18 yards out and he's gone for power. Williams was off his line, and yeah, unfortunately for him, it went through his legs. The power just did the South African goalkeeper, but South Africa just haven't got started in this game.
No, it's been a great start from the co-hosts, as we have to call them. Mexico 1, South Africa 0. BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service. Wherever you go, listen to us on BBC Sounds. And as well, this is a World Cup where you may well want to take the radio to bed with you, because it's going to be an endurance test. I think there might be a little bit of World Cup fatigue creeps in over the course of the group stages, certainly, in this 48-team World Cup. 12 groups of 4. 8 of the third-place teams go through. So certainly, if South Africa were to go on to lose this match, by no means is all lost in a group with the Czech Republic and South Korea, but it'll be very tough for them as the ball is out of play for a throw into Mexico halfway inside their own half. But this is what all of these thousands of people came here to see today, queuing outside the ground from 7 o'clock, probably before 7 o'clock this morning. We were here just before 7:30, and the colour was incredible. We saw another foul centre field from South Africa, and I think referee Sampaio is very soon going to be, he's going to have to pull out the yellow card, as this time it's Mokoena who committed the foul in centre field, and it is a free kick, and that's all to Mexico.
In South Africa have found it tough, and they're resorting to trying to rough up Mexico. Mexico being by far the better team. Just seeing the goal again from Quiñones on the inside. Powerful right foot. What a start for the Mexicans.
Yeah. Excellent goal-scoring record, as Chris says, this season in Saudi with his club Al Qadsiya. But that only his third international goal for Mexico. By far the most famous. I'm not sure he'll score a more famous goal for Mexico, as this time a foul committed by Brian Gutierrez, and it's a free kick to South Africa in their own left-back position. But yes, the colour outside the ground, Chris, earlier. Yeah, the senoritas who turned up in the traditional Mexican dresses, and I don't know what you'd call them. Looked like figures out of the High Chaparral that I remember from my youth.
Yeah.
But that mixed with the modern and the old, as Lyle Taylor for South Africa, who've been really up against it in these opening 15 minutes of this match. Ball is played over towards the right-hand side by Mokoena. Mudeo is over there, back to Mokoena. It's almost the first time that we've seen South Africa with a spell of possession inside the Mexican half. Attempted pass forward, is blocked away, and Bakazi hit that, blocked away out towards the left-hand side, and Bakazi again, left-footed ball into the edge of the area, headed down by Cesar Montes, the captain, to start the tournament in place of Edson Alvarez. And there's another challenge by Mokoena, and sure enough, next foul brings the first yellow card. It's Mokoena, it's his second foul, and he's booked.
Well, in fairness, the South African team, this is no exaggeration. They could have had 4 yellow cards. The referee eventually succumbing, trying to really insert a bit of physicality on this Mexican team, but it's been a really frustrating start for South Africa.
The yellow card just been announced by one of the men with the deepest voices in the world, who is on the public address system here in the Aztec Stadium. Just slightly overcast at the moment. The temperature is apparently around about 24 degrees, and we'll just keep an eye on the skies, because it can very quickly become stormy in Mexico City. We've had some spectacular lightning storms and torrential rain during the course of this week, a little bit like I was listening to Ian Dennis and Stephen Warnock last night when the England match in Orlando was delayed. Ball passed forward by Mokoena, but he's got far too much on that, and it just runs through to goalkeeper Rangel like a back pass. Yeah, so a number of big calls from Javier Aguirre today, who's a bit of a character. I was watching him give his final news conference yesterday afternoon. He's full of laughs and jokes, and it will be his last gig, because his assistant, Rafael Marquez, remember him, what a brilliant central defender he was, the Mexican. He will take over from Aguirre after this World Cup.
Yeah, and sizable shoes to fill with it. Aguirre, what, third time as manager of Mexico, and he's just settled things down, hasn't he? For the third time round, and made them a little bit more pragmatic and difficult to beat. They've come into the World Cup actually in a bit of decent form, unbeaten in 8.
That's right. Although in saying that, during the course of that unbeaten run, they had a couple of 0-0 draws against Uruguay and here against Portugal earlier in the year, and they were booed off by the home supporters. They're not booing today. As the ball's headed forward, Mexico leading by 1-0. 5 live from the BBC, live from Mexico City. Ball chipped out towards the right-hand side, and it's just rolled forward by Alvarado. He gets it back on the right. Little pass in field, comes all the way back to Reyes, the right back. He drags his foot over the ball. Second time as well. Then forward to goal scorer Quiñones, who's going to have another goal from 25 yards, but that flies away, bends away from the top right corner, and I think hit the advertising hoardings behind the goal. 1-0 Mexico.
Yeah, on the drift from that left-hand side, coming over to the right-hand side of the box. Really sharp turn. It's all of 30 yards out, and he's already got a goal, so he's thinking, well, why not have another pop? But that one was high and wide.
And now, have we seen South Africa delay the taking of the goal kick here? Oh, I think Raul Jimenez was complaining about it. Yeah, he was inside the penalty area. I thought we were going to see, because that is one of the laws, isn't it? You have to be sharp on your goal kicks now, as there's a foul on Foster on the halfway line.
And bearing in mind they're losing South Africa, that would be a strange thing to do, time waste, wouldn't it?
It would. The South Africans have the ball on the halfway line. Mexico 1, South Africa 0. And you do have a little bit of a wait actually for the next World Cup match. Only 2 on the first day. It's the other match in this group, and it is one of those matches where you may want to take the radio to bed, because it is kicking off at 3 a.m. UK time. South Korea against Czech Republic. South Africa break, but the pass forward is misplaced. There were 3 options there, but it was a poor ball to the edge of the penalty area, and then there's another foul, this time by Modeo, the right wing-back, who has taken out Cesar Montes, and that wasn't a great challenge either. Free kick to Mexico.
That's unbelievable. I mean, it's just a reckless challenge off his feet. Montes driving forward. They've actually built well on a couple of occasions from the back, South Africa. When they get into the Mexican half, they just try to force that final ball, and it's gone awry. They need to have a little bit more composure.
He lunged in on the challenge there, Modeo, but I think he was helped by the fact that he didn't make much contact on Cesar Montes. Mexico play it forward. Here's Brian Gutierrez out to the right-hand side to Alvarado. The number 25, Alvarado, back onto his left foot, curls it into the edge of the penalty area. It's headed down in a way that a comparative safety for South Africa, and then passed forward. But that's asking a lot of Lyle Taylor. And in the end, the ball deflects out of play it is given as a South Africa throw 10 yards inside their own half. Mexico 1, South Africa 0. Almost halfway through the first half of the opening match of the World Cup. What have you made of it so far, Chris Sutton?
Well, it's a tremendous start for Mexico, and I suppose from the South African point of view, they must have known it was coming, a whirlwind. They must have known Mexico would start quickly, and I'm sure the manager Hugo Bross would have said, let's just stay in the game, as another forced pass from the back.
Goalkeeper Rangel has come and he's flapped it away, and now the cross into the penalty area hits the defender on the edge of the penalty area. Gallardo, he leapt up in the air. His arms were close to the side of his body, but I think it hit him in the midriff, in the chest, and he was able to clear it away. But he was very nearly standing inside his own penalty area there, as another foul is committed. This time it's against the South Africans, and it's a free kick to South Africa.
Yellow card.
Yellow card immediately. And Gutierrez says to the referee, palms apart, shrugging shoulders, saying, it's my first challenge.
They feel a little bit hard done by. I've got to say, talk about that position, the Mexican goalkeeping position. What was Rangel doing there? Flapping. It was ridiculous.
Terrible.
Goalkeeping.
It's terrible. It was a long pass hit forward.
He could have let it run behind him out for a goal kick. He could have done anything. He flapped wildly, and now South Africa a chance to load a ball into the Mexican box from that right-hand side.
You know that match I mentioned, the 0-0 against Uruguay? Rangel played in that, and he was on the receiving end of some fairly fierce criticism after that match. So maybe just betrays the nerves for him. But Aguirre has shown faith in him, the coach, to play in this match. But it's a free kick to South Africa on the right. This is their first chance, really, to test Rangel in terms of making him make a save. 23 minutes on the clock. Mexico winning 1-0. 5 live from the BBC. So the free kick, right-footed, taken in towards the penalty spot, but that's a firm and good header away. They're a decent central defensive pair, Vasquez and Montes. Comes back into the edge of the box, up they go, it's headed down and will be taken away by Quiñones for the Mexicans, although he just dwelt on the ball, but he's actually played it out off Udeo, and it's through for a goal kick, and it's a goal kick to Mexico.
Drinks break, I think, now, and you're right about the Mexican centre-back pairing, but Montes especially really dominant in the air and winning that header. And if you're South Africa, the thing to do from free kicks and corners is keep the ball out of Montes's area.
So they're actually going to play music during the breaks as well. So this is a proper timeout, isn't it?
I think if you're South Africa, I think you think this is fortunate for them. They've got this break so they can regroup. They have looked ragged in this first half of the first half. Mexico is the start they wanted, and the message will be just carry on the same.
Well, you know, without wishing to be disrespectful, which I certainly would not want to do, this starting lineup contains 6 players from Mamelodi Sundowns, who are the runners-up in the South African Premier Soccer League this season, 1 from the champions, Orlando Pirates, 1 who plays in the United States with Chicago Fire, 1 who's just been relegated in Portugal with Tondela, and Lyle Foster of Burnley.
Yeah. No, and I think he's only had, scored 3 goals this season, so he's hardly...
However,
he's hardly on a high, John, is he?
But we do know in international football it can be the case that sometimes international teams can be greater as a team than the individual parts.
No, absolutely, and I think that's the hope for South Africa and Hugo Broos coming in to this tournament. There's no doubt that the manager has improved the team over the last few seasons, but yeah, because of the domestic element to their team, in many ways they're unknown coming into this competition. You say Mexico would have the better pedigree of players, but South Africa have shown through qualification, finishing above the likes of Nigeria in their group, that they can play. But I think this first half of the first half, they've been a little bit shell-shocked and overwhelmed, maybe by the whole occasion.
The hydration break, as they call it, is over. That's the voice of Chris Sutton. This is 5 Live from the BBC. We're on the World Service as well in Sub-Saharan Africa, and we're here at the Azteca Stadium. You and I here, Chris, for the first time today. First time I've walked into it. I have to say, it really felt a little bit like when I walked into Wembley for the first time as a schoolboy. Just the effect of walking in here. I could see the flags hanging from the roof as I walked up the entrance into the stadium, and then the ball of the stadium revealed itself. Play will resume with a South African goal kick, and I immediately just looked to the point where Maradona started that run to score that amazing goal, the goal of the century as it was called, against England back in '86. And that's the penalty area we're looking at now, which is cleared away. Rangel downfield, he went long with that. It bounces centrally for South Africa to take up possession again with the number 6, Modiba, and then back to Mokoena, who turns and plays it back into central defence. So we'll have to see whether Hugo Broos, the coach of South Africa, has been able to change things at all with that little moment there that he had to speak to his players for a couple of minutes. Long pass forward for South Africa. That is headed down and away by Israel Reyes, the Mexican right back. South Africa take up possession again. South Africa in the all-yellow kit. And looking around this stadium, over 80,000 people in here, there are really only tiny pockets dotted around the stadium of yellow shirts of South African supporters. I mean, they'll be in the hundreds, if that. Mexico win the ball back. It's passed forward to the goal scorer, Quiñones, down in the right full-back position. Then he plays it back to Gallardo. Raúl Jiménez waits on the edge of the penalty area. Before Quiñones gave Mexico the lead, Jiménez had already had one effort that was saved very well, actually, by Ronwen Williams, as Mexico go all the way down the other end, back to that penalty area I was talking about. And Rangel passes it forward and up the left wing. Now in centre field with Eric Lira, the number 6, the central holding midfielder. Just over 15 minutes of the first half to play. It's played through to Gutierrez. On his right foot he shoots, but that's blocked by defender in the penalty area. I think it might have been Sibisi who was able to get a leg in the way of that, and it's cleared downfield again. They do carry a threat from the flanks and from Gutierrez as well.
Yeah, I mean, the issue that South Africa have got is those wide areas they're giving up. That back five is really hard for the 3 South African midfielders to get out wide. You see there, Mexico 2v1 in the wide areas, early cross.
Berlin from Reyes, looking for Raúl Jiménez in the middle, but goalkeeper Williams was able to come out and deal with it. He caught it, got both hands to it. South Africa in danger, trying to play out from the back again. Mexico are all over them, and that is one of the hallmarks of Aguirre's Mexican team, and it's already worked for them, brought them 1 goal. And South Africa get away with it this time and play it back to goalkeeper Williams, who will get it again on the edge of his penalty area. It's a great little interview we heard with Ronwen Williams, with Manny Jasmy, before the start of the match, talking about the inspiration from the death of his brother Marvin in a car accident in South Africa, and the constant inspiration that he is in his sporting and professional career. Long and left-footed ball forward for Mexico towards Raúl Jiménez. He can't reach that, and it's played back to goalkeeper Williams again. Rather disappointingly, we haven't had a wave since the start of the match, but there's been too much going on, Chris.
It certainly has. Here's Williams. He plays out.
Williams just passing the ball out from the back. I thought he was going to give that one away there for a moment. It's helped down the left flank, but Mexico able to deal with that, and it's played back by Alvarado all the way to his goalkeeper. Again, Rangel looking a little hesitant there as he passed the ball out to Cesar Montes, who goes long with his pass, and that's going nowhere. And South Africa back in possession. They have come more into it, South Africa. Mind you, they simply weren't in it in the first 15 minutes.
They haven't threatened the Mexican goal at all, have they? Other than that wild, flat, unnecessary flat. They've looked pretty solid at the back, and South Africa just trying to impose themselves and get a foothold in this game, popping the ball around.
And so it's South Africa in possession inside their own half. So this is the first of the 104 matches that will lead to the final. So if you're going to win it, you've got to come through 8 matches, 1 more than previously. Long pass forward, but it looks as though Madiba might be offside. No flag yet, then it does eventually come from the Brazilian assistant on the far side, and it's a free kick to Mexico. So that is just it, isn't it? The size of this World Cup, with 48 teams as opposed to 32 in the last 7 tournaments. It means that there are 72 group matches. In the World Cup previously, the last 7 World Cups, there have been a total of only 64 matches. We've got many more matches in the group phase this time than we had in the whole of the World Cup for the last 7 tournaments. They're just trying to start a wave down in front of us, but oh yeah, here it goes. Yeah, it's catching hold around the top tier of the Azteca. This where the the not terribly loved Mexican waves really started their lives back in '86. Some would say the blight of sporting events all over the world. Mexico 1, South Africa 0. But being here, it's very difficult to criticise the enthusiasm of the Mexican people, and they'll be watching this. Oh, that's a poor touch on the far side.
Once again, Rangel, that wasn't a great ball out.
And South Africa have a throw-in after miscontrolled out of play. South Africa go back towards the halfway line. And the pace of the match has dropped, as it is played forward now for South Africa. Right for the ball. Lyle Taylor on the edge, Lyle Foster on the edge of the box, takes the touch on it, but then the pass out towards the far side goes astray, and it's out of play for a throw-in to Mexico. That was half a chance for Lyle Foster on the edge of the area.
It was, but that's a couple of times his touch has let him down, and it a bit clunky there, but it's a really good incisive pass out, actually from the back. Bob Cassie into midfield, and the ball into Taylor on the edge of the... Foster on the edge of the Mexican box, but popped it out wide to no one.
Mexico 1-0 up. Just over 10 minutes to go to half-time. Mexico bring it forward with Gutierrez. Passes it to his right, to Alvarado. Now Reyes storms forward from right back, but in comes the challenge on him from Mbakazi. And it's a throw-in to Mexico here, just about level with the edge of the South African penalty area. That sun has now disappeared. Beautiful afternoon, though. This is nothing like the sweltering conditions we're expecting in the United States. Back to Gutierrez. Quick on the ball. Passes it to his left, to Fidalgo. Now Quiñones is looking for the fullback, who plays it across. Gallardo, but too close to goalkeeper Williams, who was able to drop on it. Got a hand to it, was able to stun it, stop it, and then jumped on it.
Yeah, really good goalkeeping from Williams. Alert as ever. Timely plucked down to his left-hand side. I tell you, Alvarado looks a tidy player, doesn't he, on the right-hand side for Mexico. A lefty. Getting the balls in tight areas and showing he can handle it.
Yep, he is the number 25. Plays in Mexico for Guadalajara. He is another one. They love a nickname in Mexico, don't they?
What was he, the Louse?
He's the Louse. El Piojo, they call him. And
why?
Now then, I do know the reason for that, but I'm getting them mixed up because one of them's called the Ant and one's called the Louse, and I can't remember which is which. Here's Lira in possession in the centre circle. Passes it to his left as Gallardo brings it forward. Alvarado playing on the right-hand side. Brian Gutierrez behind Raúl Jiménez, and then the goal scorer Quiñones on the left-hand side. They're a useful front four. As Mexico have it again with Lira on the halfway line. Lira just moves back into his own half and touches it back again for Mexico. Just a retained possession now, 1-0 up with that early goal, scoring in the 9th minute. Not the fastest goal that has ever been scored in an opening match at a World Cup. A couple of them were scored in the 4th minute. So Quiñones doesn't get that particular record, but Mexico are the team that's been involved in 7 previous opening matches at World Cups, and they've never won one. So there is a little bit of history there for Mexico if they can take it here today. And having set themselves up with that opening match, opening goal, what an opportunity they have. The ball is with Modeo, and then it comes back towards the halfway line. It's clipped across here to the left-hand side, where it will be moved forward by Mbakazi and then into the penalty area, but Foster with the header couldn't direct it on target, and it's wide by 3 or 4 yards.
Mbakazi just stepping in, what's it, 35 yards out there over the corner of the box, and Foster just peeling off his centre back, but very difficult to score with a header, what, from 16 yards out, back pedalling.
First attempt on goal from South Africa?
Yeah, if we can call it an attempt.
Yeah. Sun comes out again as South Africa have the ball in the centre circle, and Sitole out to the right-hand side. Mudeo goes for a long high pass to the edge of the Mexican penalty area, but it's headed down, and goalkeeper Rangel can just pick it up at the last moment and then bowl it out underarm to Israel Reyes, and then it finds its way forward towards Alvarado again. Alvarado, you can tell that, you know, the crowd has spotted this as well. When Alvarado gets possession, you can hear the reaction from the crowd. As Mexico, though, go back into their own half, and it's out there with Gallardo, the left back into central defence. Johan Vasquez forward towards Lira. Lira looks up, beckons a teammate to come closer to him, which Fidalgo does, and Fidalgo then to Gallardo again. And Mexico with half-time approaching, and South Africa, having seen more of the ball over the course of the last 10 minutes, are quite happy here just to have a spell of possession themselves. This Lira is bowled into. The ball had gone there. That was another late one. It's a free kick, and the referee is just going to have a word with Sitole, that's all.
It was Lira who pocketed Sitole, I think, for the Mexican goal, wasn't it? Lira's been really good, actually, in front of that Mexican back four. He's a robust type of player, but he's linked things together pretty well in that Mexican midfield.
Yeah, Eric Lira, who is the captain of the Cruz Azul club and also has a nickname, Jefecito. Can you remember what that one was? Jefecito?
Go on.
Little Chief. They called him. Well, he's been the Little Chief today, hasn't he? As the sun comes out brightly now, the Mexican sun. This is what we came for, Chris, to see the sun in Mexico. As the home side, the host, the co-hosts have it. Ball played into the centre circle. That's a misplaced pass. South Africa, if they'd been sharp there, might have made something of that. However, it's bounced back for Mexico. And now Brian Gutierrez to Alvarado. The pass was a little short, and that meant that Mbakazi could come in with a challenge and put it out of play. Just next to where Hugo Broos is standing. He will also retire from coaching after this World Cup. Hugo Broos, the former Belgian international defender, after almost 40 years in coaching. White-haired down there, away down there on the edge of his coaching area, with his hands clasped behind his back, dressed all in light grey. Mexico in the centre circle. Here is Fidalgo again, and Lira together. Fidalgo gets it back. He plays in Spain, Fidalgo, with Real Betis.
Again, neat and tidy, isn't he, on the ball? It's a really good passing move, this from Mexico.
And Brian Gutierrez attempts the pass, tried to slip it through to Raul Jimenez on the edge of the penalty area. South Africa just about cut it out and cleared it away towards the halfway line. Again, Quinones, 30 yards from goal, passes it to his right, where Alvarado had a thought about having a shot there, but was quickly closed down. Mexico continue to retain possession inside South Africa territory. 1-0 Mexico lead, that early goal. Headed away for South Africa. Comes out to Gallardo, who kills it. Oh, Jimenez with a chance, but saved! Saved by Ronwen Williams. He didn't get the contact. Raul Jimenez, who was flying through the air, leg stretched out, got a touch on it, sent it goalwards, but Williams was able to dive to his left and push it away.
I just wonder whether Jimenez actually had just drifted offside, but gets in behind the... Gets in behind the back line. He's just trying to deflect the ball with his right boot from 6 yards past Williams. Williams made the save anyway. I'm not so sure that would have counted.
Still just 1-0. But Mexico come again. Quinones tries the shot, but challenge came in, so it was blocked. Alvarado. Quinones hits the post right-footed. So close to 2-0. He tried to curl it, caress it into the bottom corner, and he was inches away from making it 2-0. Instead, it hit the face of the post, bounced out. South Africa got it away, and they've won a free kick now halfway inside their own half.
Yeah, he's really unlucky. I think it's Alvarado who plays a delicious ball for him, little reverse ball, and then there's a set-up of Gutierrez, I think, who just feeds the ball. Nunes there, he passes the ball right-footed and it cannons off the post. South Africa get a little bit fortunate there.
Excellent interplay between Alvarado, Gutierrez in the penalty area, strong from him, lovely touch to lay it on for Quiñones, who, as I say, could easily have found the bottom corner with that.
He's got such great awareness, Alvarado, doesn't want the ball for himself, pass the ball at the right time, that was the key.
Mexico 1, South Africa 0. We're bringing you all of the stunning atmosphere of the world-famous, the iconic Aztec Stadium, as Mexico, the long pass forward towards the edge of the box, but South Africa have got it back. We will have coverage, of course, on 5 Live of all 104 matches. Ball played through to Reynas, just outside the Mexican penalty area. Then the cross from Modeo, that is blocked. It comes off Gallardo and will spin away behind for a South African corner there first. So a chance from a set piece. It would be quite the stunner, wouldn't it, Chris, if South Africa were to come up with an equaliser, because, I mean, this has been Mexico's match so far.
They've offered very, very little in an attacking sense. Maybe it'll be a set piece.
Maybe so.
Change things, yeah, for the Yellows of South Africa, but yeah, from open play, wrong choice in the final third. Haven't been clinical enough for that final ball.
Aubrey Modiba goes across to take the corner. He takes it short. Modiba gets it back. Left-footed ball curled in. That's headed away near the halfway line. Shot comes in from distance. My goodness. That was well hit from probably 40 yards from Mbukazi. But Rangel was quick steps to his right, patted it down and has the ball at his feet now.
That was lashed with his left foot, wasn't it, Mbukazi? Yeah. Decent enough strike, but Rangel watched it all the way gratefully.
First attempt on target by South Africa. Mexico leading by 1 goal to 0. And the ball with goalkeeper Rangel. Passes it out to the edge of the penalty area. So yeah, quite a number of calls for Aguirre, their coach, in his dark suit, down on the edge of the coaching area. So Edson Alvarez, the West Ham man who's been on loan at Fenerbahce, only a substitute. Ball played forward for Quiñones, but goalkeeper Williams was always the favourite to get to that, which he did, and he just whacked it right-footed away downfield. And Mexico have got it back on the edge of their penalty area. So Alvarez on the bench, who you'd normally expect to be captain. Guillermo Ochoa, the veteran goalkeeper, who is in a World Cup squad for the 6th time, which equals the record, which is jointly held now with Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo at this World Cup, all 6 World Cup squads. So Ochoa on the bench, Santiago Jimenez as well, the AC Milan player, might have been in the starting lineup. And also, I think all of Mexico was interested to see if the 17-year-old, the youngest man stroke boy at this World Cup, Gilberto Mora, would have been in the starting lineup. Many fancied that he would, but he's actually on the substitutes bench, the 17-year-old Mora, as Mexico come forward. Jimenez heads it to Alvarado, but it's hooked out of play for a throw-in to Mexico, just level with the edge of the penalty area. He's quite the young star. I don't know whether you've noticed, Chris, Mora is on many of the billboards all over the centre of Mexico City. Raúl Jiménez, after the throw is taken, comes back for a shot from the left-back Gallardo, which was deflected, which took the pace off it, and Williams was able to come to his right. Yet his face, Mora's face, 17 years old, right down the whole side of skyscrapers in the centre of Mexico City. Got to get used to stardom.
A young talent. Similar thing happened to me in Norwich, John, at 17 years old.
Yeah, not too many high buildings in Norwich, though. It's not like Mexico City. Fantastic cathedral, of course.
Yeah, well, too.
Yes. Amazing spire. Here is Modiba, who is all over Reyes. That was almost in slow motion, that, wasn't it? They get themselves up. Modiba's back on the ball, and then it's actually Alvarado who's putting the challenge, and the final touch was out of play off the South Africa for a goal kick. We're in 6 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. That's right, isn't it? Oh no, is it 4 minutes? Yeah, 4 minutes of added time.
Wasn't happy about the award of the goal kick there, Madiba. All accounts better going forward than he is defensively. Hasn't had an easy afternoon so far, an easy evening, I should say. It's Alvarado.
Mexico want that second goal, though, don't they? Remember the match in Johannesburg in the amazing Soccer City 16 years ago. To the day, finished 1-1 between these teams. South Africa. I think Shabalala, who scored the goal for South Africa, is here. Jimenez. Now as South Africa lose possession, Quinones puts it onto his right foot, then plays the ball through. Gutierrez, he scuffed his shot horribly across the face of goal. He was in there from an angle, probably 12 yards out with the outside of his boot. He didn't catch it at all and just sliced it across the face of goal.
It's brilliant from Quinones. Such a sharp turn inside off the left-hand side, and then he fed the ball behind the South African midfield to the on-rushing Gutierrez, who just seemed to panic, had more time than he thought, and ended up, I mean, that was a toe poke wide of the left-hand post. Needed more conviction, more courage there with his effort. That was a real opportunity for Mexico to double the lead.
Great chance. And talking about whether South Africa could have forced an equaliser, if Mexico scored a second goal, then that would have been almost, on the basis of what we've seen so far, almost impossible from South Africa to come back from. It remains Mexico 1, South Africa 0, and I think that is it. The referee is calling an end to it. And there we are, the first half of football at World Cup 2026 is over. We had the great moment, really, when Mexico scored the first match of the tournament in the 9th minute. Julian Quinones, and the atmosphere and the reaction inside this stadium was something to behold. So 1-0 at half-time, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, Mexico came out of the traps as we all expected with the atmosphere pre-kick-off. They started fast. South Africa really were sluggish and maybe a bit of fear in their approach. Weren't really good enough or brave enough to play out from the back, and they were caught, weren't they? And Quinones, who's been absolutely outstanding in the first half for Mexico with the goal. They could have, maybe should have been further in front, but at half-time I think they'll be pretty happy.
Yeah, Mexico providing the individual performances so far of this World Cup, and the only goal. Julian Quinones in the 9th minute. Half-time here in the Azteca. Mexico 1, South Africa 0.
Their only disappointment, Chris, will be that they're not more than 1 up.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the danger, isn't it? And you think, well, will South Africa offer more in this second half? I mean, I think Mexico have the better players. Alvarado is, looks got lovely left foot playing off that right hand side. He's not the quickest, but great eye for a pass. And then Quinones, I've not seen anything of him in truth, but you look at his goals record in the Saudi League.
Top scorer in Saudi League.
So he certainly knows where the back of the net is, and he took his goal well, went for power rather than placement, and people can look at the South African goalkeeper Williams and think, well, should he have done better? I think the pace did for him, but yes, even just not just a goal scorer. I mean, the turn and the pass for Gutierrez when he should have done better just before half time. But I think all things being equal, that it's a really good first half from Mexico, and they'll want more of the same, and just to get a big 3 points and gather momentum in this competition.
I should just underline, Mark, I did only mention it once, but for the entire duration of the first half, Chris has been wearing a sombrero.
Yeah. Why?
Well, I mean, it was put on my head, and it fits well, Mark.
Okay.
I'll keep it, and hopefully I'll be able to take it home.
Has it not been in any way distracting?
No, I don't. Well, not for me. I don't know whether it is for John when I lean over.
I occasionally glance to my left. It has caught my eye.
Former South African captain Dean Furman with us as well. Dean, they are lucky to be only 1 down, would you say?
Absolutely. I think the only positive that South Africa can take from that half of football is that it's only 1-0, that they're still in this game, because it could comfortably be 2-0. They just really, that first 15 minutes, you could see that Mexico were coming with a high press. They continued to try and play out from the back, which is the South African way. We don't have a 6'4" striker up front who we can pump long balls to, so we're always going to play out from the back. But I think we gifted them a goal under pressure. Roman Williams passing the ball into the deep line midfielder. It's just a nightmare of a pass to receive for a sitting midfielder. Mexico, in fairness, had a fantastic press in the first 15 minutes. And South Africa couldn't live with it, and very lucky to just be 1-0 at half-time.
And I mean, Chris mentioned in commentary that obviously you don't have a big man up front for the long ball out from the back. But if you're going to get caught by the press, then if you're not going to go to a big man, you've got to go out wide, haven't you?
Absolutely, and having played with him, got full trust in Roman Williams, who his distribution, think of Pepe Reina, it's on that level, his distribution's phenomenal. So it's disappointing to see him play a midfield into trouble, but that is something that we work on. That is something that South Africa will do time and time again. They'll look to play out from the back and try to build through the lines rather than go long, just purely because we don't have that big, strong number 9 who's going to hold the ball up for us. When it has got into the final third, when we actually have built up play and maybe taken the sting out of it and had a sustained period of possession, our final third has just been so poor. It's broken down within 2 or 3 passes max, and that's something that they're going to have to fix in this second half.
I suppose the danger, Chris, is that if South Africa try and chase this, Mexico will easily exploit the space even more and pick them off.
Yeah, I mean, you would think so. There's just better quality in the front line of Mexico. You know, I think they're cleaner with the link up. It's okay playing 2 up top, but I don't think they've really linked up to decently at all in that first half, and you know that's been an issue. They're 2 guys, I think, who it seemingly like to run in behind. Lyle Foster isn't one who gets the ball in and sort of is clever with his hold-up play. So it's something, I think, for South Africa certainly to ponder at half-time, and maybe we'll see a change of shape. But you can only see at this moment this game heading in one direction, and that's a comfortable win for Mexico.
Have you just gone early with a half-time snack thinking I wasn't going to talk to you?
Hey, maybe.
It sounds like it.
Well, that's because I was eating, and then you came back to me, and then I had to swallow quickly, and then come back to you.
Right, back with John and Chris for the second half, and we'll have more from Dean. So just a couple of other World Cup lines for you. Argentina have called up Marcos Senesi to their 26-man squad. Obviously, he's recently joined Spurs from Bournemouth, and Wataru Endo has retired from international football. He's left the Japanese World Cup squad after picking up an injury. So the opening game of the 2026 World Cup is going the way of Mexico at the moment. One of the 3 co-hosts leads South Africa by a goal to 0. Second half on the way. Just after 9 o'clock, Richard Foster has the news.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The voice of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
There have been 2 more resignations from the government after John Healey quit his post as Defence Secretary earlier. Al Carnes is stepping down as Defence Minister, and Pamela Nash has resigned as Mr Healey's Parliamentary Private Secretary. John Healey accused the Prime Minister of being unable to commit the resources needed to defend the UK. The former Defence Secretary, Lord Hutton, says it was the right thing to do.
The resignation is a very colossal failure, actually, on behalf of government to get any sort of meaningful policy moving forward to help re-equip and rearm our armed forces. We've heard some great speeches from ministers over the last couple of years, but they just haven't been matched by the appropriate actions, particularly on resources.
Sir Keir Starmer says he'll increase military spending in a sustainable way. President Trump has cancelled planned strikes on Iran and has suggested discussions and final points on a peace deal have now been approved in negotiations. The president says the time and place of the signing of the deal will be announced shortly. Extra officers, police dogs and water cannon will be on the streets of Northern Ireland tonight after 2 nights of violence. 12 officers were injured and 16 people arrested last night. The rioting started after a knife attack earlier this week in Belfast. Counter-terrorism police are investigating a stabbing at a school in Greater Manchester earlier this week. 3 people were injured in the attack in Blakely on Tuesday. A 14-year-old girl was detained under the Mental Health Act. She's still in custody. Climate scientists say El Niño has officially begun. The warming of the tropical Pacific will strengthen in the coming months, increasing the risk of extreme weather. Gabrielle Vecchi from Princeton University says El Niño has a wide-ranging impact.
It changes the probability of hurricanes, of typhoons. It changes the probability of drought and flood in a number of parts of the world, of heat waves, and it even alters the globally average temperature.
And a pill version of the weight loss injection Wegovy has been approved in the UK. It's the first tablet of its kind to be cleared for private prescription by regulators, but hasn't yet been assessed for NHS use.
Throughout the World Cup, 5 Live Breakfast is coming to you live from the USA.
This is huge for the United States. We have the World Cup here, biggest sporting event in the world.
I don't need to buy diamonds, but my wife is 7 months pregnant, so I'm negotiating my own terms.
Go now.
Let's bring it home, US, baby.
The rest of the world is not ready to see what USA has in store. So yeah, they're in for a treat now.
5 Live Breakfast. Ask your smart speaker.
Play BBC Radio 5 Live.
Live from Mexico.
This is 5 Live Sports.
At the FIFA World Cup 2026.
With Mark Chapman.
Second half on the way from Mexico City with the hosts a goal up on South Africa. Let's hear from Rob Key, England Cricket's managing director. He's been talking to BBC Cricket correspondent Stephen Schemmel today about the suspension of Ben Stokes and Gus Atkinson for breaking that curfew on Sunday night and what his initial reaction was.
I think the first thing, it was sort of Monday morning, was a sinking feeling. And then disbelief, anger. I'm not sure I'm over all of that now, to be honest, because there's so much work that Ben and myself have put in as well, so much time spent on the phone. So I think the overriding thing was shock that it was Ben who was involved in this.
Will Ben Stokes play for England again?
Look, no decision's been made. I don't see why not. At the moment, it's one of those times where there's so many emotions flying around on every part of everything, whoever's involved in any of these decisions, and it's just a moment to take a breath and actually let the process play out. That's where we are at the minute. Both of these players have been stood down. We don't think it's the right thing for them, the right thing for us, the team, for them to be selected and play in this next test match, and we'll make a decision on all these things in due course.
Harry Brooks, the test vice-captain. Why is he not captain in the second test?
I just don't feel that's the right time. That's the decision that we came to. We thought long and hard about this. The test captaincy is a massive job, even if it's in an interim basis, especially going into this next test match and everything that Harry would have to deal with, plus the fact Harry's at the moment getting his head around white ball cricket as well as being one of the best test batters in the world. Just didn't feel like that was the right time for a number of different reasons.
Is Wellington one of those reasons?
I think that would be one of them, yeah. That's not the main reason, that's for sure. It's just the enormity of that job. What's best for Harry, what's best for this team going forward.
Did the precedent of the punishment given to Harry over the winter, has that set a precedent for what could happen now?
I don't think so. We're obviously now, we spent a long time over the last few months with trying to make sure that what we're portraying to the public, that we're going to regain their trust. And I'm not sure we've done that. In fact, I know we haven't done that with what's happened here, which is such a shame, because what I saw the team do out on the field, it was such a good win against an excellent New Zealand team. All the things that we've been working on, every single thing, whether it's within the dressing room, whether it's within that side, whether it's all the work we've tried to do to reconnect the game, it feels like we've just been smashed in the face with that, and that is incredibly frustrating.
Previously, you've denied that there's a drinking culture in this team. When we spoke to Richard Gould in March, he talked about new expectations and not having to relearn lessons. But are you and the rest of the ECB in control of this England environment at the moment?
Look, clearly, when you look at what's happened, it's hard to defend anything that's gone on at the moment. I believe that we are on the right path, and that's really hard for me to be able to prove. You know, I wanted to be here talking about a great win, or I wanted Marcus North to be here talking about the selection for the next test and some of the great stories, looking back on what was a brilliant test match win, but here I am again talking about this. That is incredibly frustrating.
Rob Key with Stephen Schemmel. Let's go into or talk about England a little bit after their 3-0 win over Costa Rica last night. Ian Dennis and Stephen Warnock were at that game and have been with the team all week in Florida.
Well, Stephen, our time together has come to an end here in Florida. Off the pitch, we've encountered a mini earthquake, searing heat, and pouring rain. But where are England on the pitch as they prepare to head to their training camp in Kansas ahead of that first game in their World Cup against Croatia next week?
Yeah, I think this is an interesting one, because if you'd have asked me that question after New Zealand, I'd said the players need more work, they need to get acclimatised a little bit more, they need to get used to the speed of the game and the stickiness of the pitches. Having watched them today against Costa Rica, now let's not get away from the fact it was Costa Rica, but the intensity in which England pressed, the way that they went about the game, the speed in which they moved the ball, I was hugely impressed with them. I think what we can see is the demands of what's being asked of the team are being sort of pushed to the limits. We're starting to see the fruition of that, and I loved what I saw today.
Well, England, for those that made the changes, so you had Gahey, Saka, Dean Henderson, Eze and Spence, who came on, as well as Rodgers after 62 minutes, and then there was a raft of substitutions after 71, including Marcus Rashford, so they will actually play more game time to build up their match minutes in that behind closed doors game against Miami. But the England coaching staff believe England are where they expected to be in terms of their acclimatisation, which is so crucial.
Oh, it's absolutely critical to this World Cup competition to make sure that you are exactly where you need to be. Also psychologically for the players, knowing that they're in the right place as well going into that first game against Croatia. But also as well tactically today they looked absolutely like every single player knew the job. You said it in commentary, there always looks like there's a spare shirt, there's a spare player all the time. We have players beating people individually, but as a collective they look sharp, they look hungry, and they look ready for this World Cup.
So Ian Dennis and Stephen Warnock, England against Croatia on Wednesday, with us here on 5 Live. John Murray and Chris Sutton are in Mexico City. Dean Furman, former South Africa captain, with us as well. Do you want to see some changes, Dean?
To be honest, there was certainly enough in that, or not enough in that first half, which you would have thought warranted some change at half-time. Certainly from a shape perspective, I said to you that it's not usual that we play this 3-5-2 formation. I would have liked to see us go back to a 4-3-3 and add a bit of creativity in the middle of the park. Maybe the manager's given it 5-10 minutes as they do, and we'll look to ring the changes thereafter, but it won't be long at all. And I think what's really important is we manage this 15 minutes, because the crowd are going to be up, Mexico are going to come out flying in. If we don't manage this 15 minutes like we didn't in the first half, the game will be gone before we even get going.
And actually, we suspect, I don't want to rile anybody Scottish listening up at the moment, but we did spend a lot of time talking about how the opening game at the Euros for Scotland, when they played host Germany and were beaten 5-1, that completely threw, obviously, that Euros off course. And so you don't want to be on the end of a shellacking here, particularly, as John has said several times in commentary, you know, three teams can qualify.
Absolutely, and there's a long way to go, so it's really important that we stay in this game, don't do ourselves too much damage in the group going forward, see what we can get going out the back end of this game, keep it at 1-0.
There's the whistle back underway. Does he still have his sombrero on, John?
No, he has discarded it, put it in his bag to take back to Norfolk. Right,
That won't stand out at all there, will it?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. Right, the second half is underway. Mexico leading South Africa by 1-0. South Africa have not yet made any changes. They were out early. Oh, it's been given away at the back. Chance here for Fidalgo. He's taken it wide, and then he couldn't find the pass across the penalty area back to Quinones. However, then the shot comes in from Alvarado, which flashes over the top of the crossbar, and South Africa so very nearly shot themselves in the foot again.
Well, I mean, it was a carbon copy of the first goal, nearly. You know, don't do anything silly at the start of the second half. Williams passes it straight to, was it Fidalgo, who took too many touches. He dallied. I mean, he reads it brilliantly. The pass wasn't on, and he should have got a shot off. He didn't. He went wide and he was smothered out of it, but Mexico should have been 2 up. They should have been 2 up in the first half. Will they rue those missed opportunities?
Will they? Only 1-0, should be more. South Africa coming forward. As I say, no changes at half-time. You can just imagine their veteran coach, Hugo Broos, what he said at half-time, probably what he said to them about the goal that they conceded. Yeah. And they sent them out of the dressing room early, back on the pitch, they have a huddle, they kick off, And they very nearly conceded a goal, very like the one conceded early in the first half.
You can imagine the huddle. Yeah, let's be concentrated. Let's flip the ball forward. Let's not take any risks. And yeah, that all went out the window.
Yep. So Mexico 1-0 up, and the teams as they started the first half. So Mexico with Rangel in goal, the veteran Ochoa is on the bench, and the back four of Reyes, Cesar Montes, Johan Vasquez, and Jesus Gallardo. Midfield of Lira and Fidalgo, then Alvarado on the right, Brian Gutierrez in the middle, Quiñones on the left. He's the one who scored the goal, the opening goal of this World Cup. He'll always be remembered for that. And Raúl Jiménez, who played for Fulham this season but is going back to Wolves, as Quiñones tries a shot from near the halfway line. So thought he saw goalkeeper Williams off his line, but the South African goalkeeper and captain was able to quickly take 7 or 8 steps back and catch the ball.
He's a confident player, isn't he? Quiñones. I mean, Williams was off his line, but what is 50 odd yards out on the left-hand side there and went for goal. That would have been spectacular.
Yeah, Quiñones, who, as we said in the first half, plays in Saudi Arabia, was the record sale from Mexican club when he was sold by the America club to Al Qadsiya. Mind you, if you sell a player to Saudi Arabia, you should be getting your record fee, shouldn't you? But $16 million that was, and he ended up pipping Ivan Toney to the top scorer award in the Saudi Pro League this season on the final day of the season. Quiñones. Mexico searching for that second goal that would probably finish off this match, but while it's 1-0, let's hope for South Africa. The ball is played forward, almost deflected for the run of Ikram Reyners through the middle, but Mexico have got it back. So I've run you through the Mexico team. South Africa as they started, with Williams in goal, Ocon, Sabisi and Mbakazi, the 3 central defenders that Dean Furman was talking about at half-time. This system that is being used here by Hugo Bros. Modeo on the right, ball through the middle. This is for Brian Gutierrez to chase, who's always been fouled on the edge of the area. And I think it's a free kick.
Isn't he? It's a
and
red.
That's got to be a
Must be a red.
Yes, it is. It's a red card. He was the last man.
The only thing is,
Gutierrez.
The only thing is, was he offside, Gutierrez? I think it was quite tight. I may be wrong, but he's really clever, isn't he, Gutierrez? Because he takes the ball across the defender, Sitoli, was it?
Sitoli, yeah.
And he draws the foul. Sitoli can't stop. It's really intelligent play. Yeah, he's onside, isn't he? The run is perfectly timed.
Yeah, it was the midfielder, Sitoli, who's chasing him back. It's a bit of a clumsy tangle of legs. As Gutierrez has a touch.
It's so clever. I mean, that's one of those. He gets his body in. Gutierrez takes a touch outside of his right boot across Sitoli. Sitoli, then, I mean, there is contact. Intelligent from Gutierrez. Sitoli's off. I mean,
I don't think that's going to get overturned, is it? Unlike the Anthony Gordon decision in the match in Orlando last night.
Gutierrez, it's his space. He takes the touch. It's his space to run into, and the fact he then just decelerates a little bit. Sitoli can't stop himself. The contact's there, and Mexico are in a brilliant place now. The numerical advantage as Sitoli walks off disappointingly.
He's not left the field yet, and only now does he walk over the white line. Well, he must have dreamed of this moment. Spepele Sitoli to play in this match, in this brilliant setting, and he was caught out for the first goal that was scored by Quiñones, and now he's been sent off early in the second half, and Mexico have a free kick, very dangerous position. Raúl Jiménez standing to the left of the ball. It is Raúl Jiménez who hits it into the wall. It bounces, and then the shot from the angle from Gallardo with a packed 6-yard box in front of him. He sliced it well wide from the narrow angle, and it's behind. It's a goal kick. It's still Mexico 1, South Africa 0, but now South Africa are down to 10 men.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult from here on in. See whether there will be a change of make any substitutions for South Africa, but I've got to say they've been outclassed, and even in that moment, Gutierrez, such an intelligent player there, draws the foul, draws the red.
So the red card, the first red card of the tournament in the 49th minute of the opening match, and now as Brian Gutierrez very nearly got away down the left-hand side, Mudeo was able to put in the challenge and put it behind for Mexico. Corner, and they are, it feels like Mexico now, with their opponents down to 10 men, they've got their tails up, and now, as I'm sure they said in that Azteca dressing room at half-time, get an early goal in the second half, and that will see them on the way to an opening victory in the 8th match that they've played as the first match of the World Cup. So the corner taken by Alvarado, headed away on the edge of the 6-yard box as Reyes chases it, but across from the back comes Eric Lira for Mexico to pop it out of play for a throw-in on the halfway line, and the throw-in is taken back towards the edge of the penalty area. So yes, if you've just joined us, it is early afternoon here in Mexico City, but that, you'll have to get used to the various time zones. I must say we're struggling to do that as the ball is flicked centrally but straight out of play off Modiba, and it's a throw into Mexico halfway inside their own half. This World Cup being played across 4 different time zones. We'll go into another different time zone when we all fly to the United States tomorrow. And the next match for you to listen to on 5 Live, the second match of the tournament, is in the early hours of tomorrow morning. 3 a.m. it kicks off. South Korea against the Czech Republic. The other match in this group, Lee Blakeman and Clinton Morrison. And that's one of our commentaries that will be coming from Salford. So Lee and Clinton are going to be up in the middle of the night commentating on that one for you. But here in Mexico, the home side leading 1-0 and searching for that second goal with a pass down the right-hand side that the surging Alvarado can't reach, and it's out of play for a throw-in to South Africa. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, it's not a change of shape. They still have the 5 defenders at the back, with the 3 centre-backs and the 2 wing-backs, 2 central midfield players and the 2 central strikers. I mean, they're just going to get mauled in the wide areas. South Africa, so much space for Mexico.
You would think they would have to make a change, wouldn't you? As South Africa, just about their first attack of the second half. Reyes is on the right wing, plays it back to Mudeo, and then the ball into the centre field where Jaden Adams plays it to his left to Mokoena, and Mokoena, the number 4, they call him the heartbeat of this team. Well, somebody needs to produce something for South Africa. So far, Raul Rangel, who's had a dodgy moment or two, has not had a save to make. Forward again for South Africa, Mokoena. And then a shot from distance, it's on target, very nearly juggled by Rangel. It slipped out of his fingers, the shot from 25 yards from the left wing-back, Modiba. And he was just able to make sure that it didn't slip over his head and into the net.
He's looked a bit ropey, hasn't he, Rangel? I mean, really poor handling. The shot had an okay amount of power, but he should be dealing with that. But yeah, he does look a little bit nervy. That may be a worry.
Yeah, I think here in Mexico, I wouldn't be at all surprised if that's one of the things they're going to be talking about on the Mexican version of 606. Chris?
But do you know what that's called, the Mexican version?
Sesh, zero sesh, I think it would be, would it?
Here we go, here's a sub.
So right, he has made the change, and it is Talent Bat, another Orlando Pirates player who is coming onto the field. It's Lyle Foster who's off.
Yeah, didn't have a good afternoon, did he, Lyle Foster, but having to make way, another midfielder on, that makes sense, and Reyes will play up top on his own.
So it is South Africa with it all to do, down to 10 men in the opening match. Mexico forcing South Africa back into their own half. then it's won back by Alvarado. Raul Jimenez takes it out to the far side. Alvarado is there, plays it down the line. Jimenez gets the first touch on that. It bounces away, doesn't bounce out of play just yet. And South Africa are able to play away, but they've given it away. And then that's a foul as well. That's a foul by Adams, centre field, and it's a free kick to Mexico just outside the South African box.
He's had a good game. Lira takes up some good positions, really presses the ball well and in a good area, and draws the foul from Adams. A little bit reckless there from Mexico to make something of this. They just want that another goal, that bit of daylight, don't they?
And cloudy skies now here at the Aztec Stadium. Mexico with the free kick near the right corner of the box as they look at it. Might be a left-footed in-swinger, but the option is there. Both options are possible. The referee's just had a word with those inside the penalty area, and central defender Cesar Montes makes a run for this. In it comes. It takes a flick off a South African head and is then nodded further away out into the right back area and bounces down, away down to our left, cleared up the right wing, and it will just bounce out of play for a Mexican throw. So Mexican leading by 1-0. Referee is just making sure that this is taken from the right place, which it is. And Mexico go all the way back towards the edge of their penalty area. So 1-0 to Mexico. Lira rolls the ball out towards the right-hand side, and then Reyes comes through the challenge and uses Alvarado on the right-hand side, but Mexico go all the way back into their own half. And goalkeeper Rangel will pass it out, and then Mexico in the green shirts with the white trim, white shorts, red socks, playing here at the Aztec Stadium, bringing back memories of Mexico 86, and indeed before that 1970. For those who can remember that World Cup, some of the great moments. The semi-final, one of the best World Cup matches ever played, Italy and West Germany. That was in this stadium as well. Mexico curling a ball forward across the penalty area diagonally, but the run from Alvarado, he was never going to reach that, and it's through for a goal kick.
It was a good spot from Quinones. He takes up some interesting positions coming off that left-hand side and inside on his right foot. Good spot, Alvarado. Just a yard or two ahead of him.
Goal kick to South Africa. Mexico actually played in the very first opening match at a World Cup in Uruguay in 1930.
What was the score in that, John?
They lost 4-1 to France. But those were in the days where sometimes there were actually two matches played at the same time in that World Cup, and in later World Cups sometimes 7 matches played at the same time. It's only really in the later years that there was just that one match. And the hosts have always played in the opening matches in the last, well, it'll be now 6 World Cups in a row. It used to be the defending champions, do you remember, who would play in the opening match, but now the hosts do. And of course, in this unusual World Cup where you have 3 host nations, they're trying to paint this as 3 opening matches, one for Mexico, one for the United States, and one for Canada. You'll hear both of those tomorrow, by the way. Canada against Bosnia and Herzegovina, which is 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Vicky Sparks and David Edgar will bring you the commentary live from Toronto as Mexico win another free kick. In fact, Alvarado in with a challenge. The referee is certainly he's indicating that there's another change to be made by South Africa. So there's second substitution. Sees Jaden Adams come off from the midfield, and Kemba Zwan is coming on. Another Mamelodi Sundowns player, is the captain of Mamelodi Sundowns actually, and he sprints out onto the field to see if he can change things at all. So there we are, Zwan for Adams in midfield.
Yeah, no, I think Zwan is a player who Ross said, well, he can't last the whole 90 minutes, but he has that ability, doesn't he, to see a pass and unlock a defence, and that's what he's been brought on there, just to try and create an opportunity. South Africa stay in the game, and They get an opportunity for a killer pass. He has to make it.
Yeah, Swan, the 36-year-old. Mexico advanced towards the halfway line, just leaning over the front of the bench here. A whole phalanx of photographers are way up here in the stands with their long lenses trained down there on the pitch. As Mexico still have the ball inside their own half. Central defenders play it forward to Fidalgo, who is put under pressure, so has to go back to the goalkeeper. But I suppose in these conditions, and remember again, this match being played at altitude, so that's another asset that Mexico have. Although in saying that, South Africa, of course, will play some of their matches at altitude as well, won't they, in Johannesburg, as the challenge comes in on centre field. There was a highish foot from Quinones, and it's a free kick on the halfway line. Some of the South Africans are suggesting that might be worth a yellow card from Quinones. It was a bouncing ball, but the Brazilian referee, the shaven-headed Brazilian referee, whether Quinones actually made contact with Modeo or not, but it was a high foot. He was risking it.
His boot is high, but there's no contact there, really. So there's a contender for the simulation game, John. Right
yes,
there.
You will be. There will be 606s, won't there, during the course of this World Cup, all through the tournament, to have your say on it. We will also have, by the way, you'll get used to this, what we're calling Breakfast in America on 5 Live during the first fortnight of the tournament, which will come live from New York or Boston in the afternoons between 1 and 3 on 5 Live. South Africa attacking down the left, ball crossed through the penalty area. Reyners is optimistically suggesting that he might have been shoved over. Referees studiously ignored that.
He's still going, Reyners, you know. It'll be interesting. Look at everything, but I mean, the ball was nowhere near him really when there was contact. And he felt that maybe he should have got something.
Yeah, referee says get the. In fact, he's counting it down here. It's a goal kick to Mexico, and he's telling them to get on with it. And Mexico do take it, and goalkeeper has the ball at his feet. In Mexico, Chris, as Mexico played out from the back, they would call it the Juegos de Simulación, the simulation game. Yep, they would. Throwing on the halfway line, South Africa to take this.
You are a clever man, John.
Well, George, to my right here, just showed me that, I have to confess. And goalkeeper Williams over the halfway line. Chested down and taken out to the right by Cesar Montes. And really, since the sending off, not a great deal has happened.
Do you know what? This place, Mexico, don't get another one in the next 10-15 minutes. It's going to get nervy, isn't it? The Azteca.
Yeah.
You just see South Africa, nothing to lose. Giving the ball away there.
Yeah, they have. So Brian Gutierrez thought about a shot, tried to play it through. I think actually the left back Gallardo would have been offside if he'd taken possession of the ball. As it is, it was overhit. So it's played away by Williams. We've got 25 minutes to play, and that second goal still hasn't come for Mexico. And okay, South Africa are playing with 10 men, but actually Aguirre, the coach, is going to change things up. He's going to make a double change, which is probably a wise move, just to try and get a little bit of momentum back here.
Yeah, Gutierrez, he's coming off, and
Fidalgo is coming off. So Brian Gutierrez and Fidalgo, and it is the wonder kid who is coming on, the 17-year-old Gilberto Mora, and what a reception he received there from the crowd. They wanted to see him play in this match. They wanted to see him start, and now he's on the field. The 17-year-old wearing number 19 on his back, and let's see what he's made of then.
Yeah, the talk about him as being that creator and the future. Can he make an impact now?
Well, at 17 years old, he becomes the 6th youngest player to appear at a World Cup, the 6th youngest man to appear at a World Cup. He's just slightly older than Pelé was by a few days when Pelé made his World Cup debut in 1958. Mexico on the attack after that double substitution. Luis Chavez is also on. Raul Jimenez with a header, cross from the right. Jimenez was there, and finally, at the age of 35, Raul Jimenez has scored his first goal in a World Cup, and that should win the opening match for Mexico here in the Azteca against South Africa. 2-0.
Yeah, that was the second goal they needed. It's a really clinical header from Jimenez. It's a brilliant ball in, left-footed from the right-hand side. The pick out for Jimenez at the far post. He's 6 yards out. All he has to do is concentrate on the connection. An emotional Raul Jimenez. Popping that one and getting the second, the all-important second for Mexico. Brilliant cross. Jimenez free at the far post, and he heads the ball down past Williams, who has absolutely no chance. And this is as comfortable can be for Mexico now.
2-0. Raul Jimenez, they're still celebrating down there on the pitch. They're still celebrating in the stands. Again, the sombreros are being thrown all around the three tiers of the stadium. And Raul Jimenez, in his 4th World Cup now, at the age of 35, a long, long wait. It's his 7th appearance at a World Cup, the first match that he started, and finally scored, and that should do it.
Yeah, it should do it. It's such an important player for this Mexican team. Gives them that option. They can go long into him. He'll run in behind, and often people think he isn't, or he doesn't score enough goals, but he gives so much to the team, and that's such an important goal because it just settles everything down now for Mexico, and it's going to be a long 22-25 minutes now for South Africa.
And with that, it's time for the hydration break, which rather strangely, I don't know where this is coming from, but what is that? There's water coming down from the roof onto us.
Yeah.
That is really odd. It's not raining though.
Well, it may be on that particular part of the roof, John. Just
where's that coming? These splashes of water are coming down. How very odd. It doesn't seem to be coming down anywhere else other than on me. Well, parties in the stands now, all around the stadium. The hydration break has taken place. Raul Jimenez has got his goal after Quiñones scored early on in the match, and South Africa playing with 10 men. They've got to be beaten now, Chris, haven't they?
Yeah, well, bit of Mexican magic, John. What is that? What was that again? Mexico, Mexica?
The Mexico. Mexico. But South Africa, I mean, they've been well beaten, haven't they?
Yeah. It's been a really difficult afternoon. The unknowns coming into this competition, really. No, it's been a really disappointing afternoon. They've been outplayed, outthought.
And the water is pouring down onto my desk. You can probably hear it splashing on the desk in front of me. 20 minutes to play. 2-0 to Mexico. On the way to victory, on the way to a win for the first time in an opening match for Mexico. After 5 defeats and 2 draws, they just going to have to move position here, otherwise I'm going to get soaking wet. Right, just shuffling to my right. Here we go. Well, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that in the Azteca. I've been waiting for this for such a long time, and there seems to be a leak in the roof above us. So 2-0 it is to Mexico, and Mexico now, it's party time. We were told yesterday, Chris, I went to the British Embassy yesterday to interview the ambassador and the brilliant staff there. I must mention Gary, who's a Burnley fan. He wore his Burnley shirt for our visit to the embassy. His dad used to play for Burnley, and he was telling us that if Mexico win, Mexico City is going to be amazing tonight. Raul Jimenez carries the ball forward, but the offside flag is up against them, and it's a free kick to the South Africans. But it does feel like the party has already started. And actually, it must be raining heavily on this side of the stadium, because I can see people have put ponchos on in the stands. So that rain has started. And remember, thunderstorms were forecast, severe weather was forecast. So Mexico need to get through the remaining 20 minutes of this match ASAP before we have, the potential of a weather interruption. Can you imagine what that would do?
It's amazing, because from our position, as we look up, we have a fair bit of blue sky out in front to our left.
Mexico break forward with the ball. Raul Jimenez with a nice throw. He was blocked. Was he blocked? The referee says no, he wasn't. Well, the defender came across, and they came together. He's saying clearly it was a shoulder-to-shoulder challenge, and even though Jimenez is down on the ground, oh dear me. I mean, that looked like he blocked Raul Jimenez there as he came across Mbakazi. I mean, Raul Jimenez has gone down quite dramatically.
I don't think it's a penalty. I think because he spots the danger. Clever little ball. I think it's from Chavez, isn't it, into Jimenez, who makes a diagonal run. Good run it is, but because he just gets across and checks him with his right shoulder.
So Quinones is fouled in the centre circle. That was quite blatant as well. Yeah, yellow card comes out for that. So that is another yellow card for the South Africans. And Sabisi just wanders away from that, just takes the yellow card that's been shown to him, and a free kick to Mexico in the centre circle. Javier Aguirre, the Mexico coach, is standing there with his arms apart to the referee, saying, some of these challenges from South Africa.
Rough house.
But I mean, he's shown the yellow card, hasn't he?
Yeah, they've been well and truly outplayed, haven't they? They rocked up at the stadium with the dancing shoes on, but the problem has been is when they've put the football boots on, there's been a lot of football played.
Yes, they did. They got off the coach, and really strikingly, the South African squad as a whole, danced their way into the stadium, and indeed danced their way out onto the pitch before the match. It was a demonstration, a show of their team unity. But today they're being beaten by the better team. Mexico have been far superior and lead by 2-0. And the rain, and strangely, we've got blue sky above the stadium, but it does appear to be raining very heavily on this side of the stadium. Another change is about to be made. Mexico on the attack, ball towards the edge of the penalty area, worked forward by Gallardo. He's gone down, stayed down. Oof, my goodness, that was a challenge on Luis Chavez. Clean challenge, says the referee. South Africa take it away towards the halfway line, and then Mexico commit the foul, and it's a free kick to South Africa.
I think it was Mbakazi. I mean, that was a challenge out of the 1980s, that was, John, but he did win the ball. I don't mind seeing that, but often you see referees go up for a foul there, but clearly the South African players getting frustrated.
Now, 2 double changes taking place. That's it for Raul Jimenez at the age of 35. He's got his goal. So he's going to be replaced by Edson Alvarez and Armando Gonzalez, another of the big favourites here. What a reception that is for Armando Gonzalez of Guadalajara, 23 years old. And he races onto the pitch. I mean, what a great feeling that must be here in the Azteca in the opening match, to come on and receive an ovation like that.
What an incredible burst onto the pitch. He ran on like an Olympic sprinter there, didn't he?
And South Africa, a police is coming on into the midfield for South Africa. And the ball goes all the way back to Williams, the goalkeeper. Long and right-footed from him, downfield, but that's over the top of Cesar Montes and through to the goalkeeper. So Reyners is off, and Modiba is off, with Evidence Mahopa and Oswin Apolis coming on for South Africa.
Modiba looks like he has a bit more physicality than Mr. Reyners. It's going to be a long end to the game for the South African team.
Yeah, this is going to be a long, what is it, less than 15 minutes to go, but the party's already started here. The rain is not dampening the enthusiasm of these Mexican supporters here at the Aztec Stadium, as Cesar Montes goes back to his goalkeeper, Rangel, who just took a moment.
He's a dodgy keeper, he is.
He just got the ball onto his other foot and was able to pass it away. Yeah, without doubt there is going to be some pressure for Ochoa to play in the next match for Mexico, which is against South Korea in Guadalajara next Thursday. If you have just switched on, the opening match is very much going Mexico's way. In the early hours tonight, listen to South Korea against the Czech Republic. That kicks off at 3 o'clock in the morning. Of course, all of the highlights you'll see on the BBC website. And Mexico making another change now. And it's the goal scorer who has etched his name into Mexican football history tonight. Julian Quiñones scoring the first goal in the 9th minute of this World Cup. And he also receives a huge cheer as he's replaced by Alexis Vega. So Mexico now a bit of a swagger about them as Luis Chavez takes the ball on, is able to get the crossover to the near post. That's only half cleared away, and then South Africa are able to pass it forward to Mokoena. Mokoena is dwelling on the ball, and Mokoena could get himself into trouble here. Still just outside his own penalty area. He's lost. He has got away with that. The 17-year-old Mora took the ball off him and is adjudged to have fouled him.
Well, maybe there was a foul maybe 5 seconds earlier. Mokoena was twisting and turning and trying to get away from him, but then he tries to turn again, takes a poor touch, and Mora was onto him, nicked the ball off him. Oh, that was a softie.
It was. It remains 2-0 though. That's good enough for Mexico. And this is announced as a full house. 80,824 is the official attendance. I must say, I thought the capacity was 83, but there we are. There are some seats covered over by tarpaulin behind the goals, because actually with the big advertising hoardings, if you sat in those seats, you wouldn't be able to see the action. So a full house. Gianni Infantino, the FIFA president, is here. He'll be very pleased to see those words, full house. South Africa with the ball on the edge of the penalty area. A low shot, but that is straight at goalkeeper Rangel, who is able to gather that quite comfortably. Straight at and drop forward. It was struck by the substitute Apolis, but straight at the goalkeeper. And actually, Alvarado, I think, in trying to block that, has ended up...
No, I think there was an earlier incident edge of the box where Alvarado gets caught by a South African player.
Yeah, but he's all right. He's climbing to his feet. 10 minutes to play, and the songs begin again. Listen to this. This is the sound of the Azteca on the day that Mexico City are on their way to victory in the opening match at this World Cup, of which they are co-hosts.
It does make you wonder when you're sitting in this stadium and taking it all in this afternoon. How is this stadium not getting the final?
Well, I think we probably know that. America are the major partners in this World Cup, but Mexico have never lost here when they've played in the World Cup. This is the 8th match. They'll have won 6 and drawn 2. And the referee He was running
I
across
wonder
to
whether
the side
this
of
is
the
for the
pitch.
earlier coming together on the edge of the box.
On Alvarez, the challenge on Alvarado.
Yeah.
Well, the referee's been called across to have a look at the monitor, and we can only assume this could be South Africa going down to 9 men. And it was Alvarado who's challenged from behind, just outside the box. Oh, there's a raised arm.
So, yeah. It's a little raised arm,
slap on the back of the
left
head.
arm, isn't it? This will be a red card, violent conduct.
Well, it's been spotted by the video assistant referee, who's from Colombia, Nicolas Gallo, and the referee down there, Wilton Sampaio. I think this is going to be a sorry opening match for South Africa. Once he's had a look at this and once the discussion has taken place, we're going to see a second red card for South Africa. That would appear to be the case. Already, Spetelo Sitoli has been sent off.
It's a left arm, isn't it? It's Alvarado, I think it's one who blocks the line of his run and is coming together, but it's a little thump on the top of the head, or he's saying no. Isn't he the ref?
Is he?
Or is he saying let me through?
Or are we going to hear the announcement?
Attacker number 11, commissaire van Breek, is arms directly the face the defender. Decision, direct free kick, red card.
South Africa are down to 9 men in the opening match. What a sorry day it's been for them. They've been well beaten on the pitch, and now down to 9 men. And the red card is now officially shown. And Zwan, Themba Zwan, who only came on as a substitute in the second half, he's been sent off for that sort of slap on the back of the head of Alvarado.
He's gesturing like there was nothing in it. Alvarado blocked the line of his run. There's a coming together. What you can't do then in that situation is lash out, and that's what he did with his left arm. Thumped Alvarado on the head with his forearm, and that's one of South Africa's most experienced players losing his head. So what a sorry state of affairs.
Yeah, Zwan, the 36-year-old who's had all manner of injury problems the last couple of years, got onto the field as a substitute, and now they're down to 9 men. He's only been on the field for 20 minutes, Zwan, and now 2-0 down, 2 men down, and there's only one way that this match is going to end up, with just over 5 minutes to play.
Yeah, they want to see full time as quickly as possible for Mexico. A chance to get another goal or two.
Goal kick it is to South Africa that Williams is going to take. I think that what must have been a very heavy rainstorm, although the rain is still coming down through that hole in the roof right above my head. I can't believe I'm the only one who's got the hole in the stadium roof above them. But there we are. We know that the World Cup is going to send you all sorts of challenges, and that's the first one. And I should have had that sombrero. That would have kept the rain off. So as the sun tries to come out, Mexico have the ball at their feet. A long right-footed pass out towards the left-hand side. Gallardo controls that, plays it infield. Mexico have got all of the time and the space. They've got the run of the Aztec Stadium now, with South Africa, the 9 men of South Africa dropping back into position. As for the home nations at this World Cup, Scotland play on, well, it's Saturday over here, it's the early hours of Sunday back home, 2 a.m. BST against Haiti. So 5 Live all over that. Alistair Lamont and Pat Nevin will bring you the commentary there. And England play first on Wednesday, 9 o'clock UK time, in Dallas, which is where I'm heading next, against Croatia. So 2 more dates for your diary if they're not in there already. Mexico in possession with Edson Alvarez, and now here it comes to the left-hand side to Vega, another of the substitutes. Vega has the option of Gallardo to his right, It does now find Gallardo, who has got space there. Gallardo's ball into the penalty area. Mora with a chance, but in comes the challenge. Still on the edge of the penalty area, but the South African defenders, and that's a scramble it away. They want a free kick. It's not given. South Africa do break forward, but that doesn't last for long. And then there's another foul over there on the far side, a shove in the back of Israel Reyes, and it's a free kick to Mexico, just inside their own half. 2-0 Mexico, 5 Live, and the World Service from the BBC.
Yep, and yet another foul there from South Africa. We've just seen the red card offence again, and someone just lashes out with his left arm. That pretty much sums up South Africa's afternoon, and they're going to have to somehow recover in Group A, aren't they? Possibility of a third place in the group being enough for them, but little margin of error. But what a start for Mexico.
What a start for Mexico. What a terrible start for South Africa, who now will be right up against that. Obviously those two players will be suspended for their next match against the Czech Republic in Atlanta on Thursday, but also the damaging effect of this as well when they've been so well beaten.
Absolutely. They'll have to somehow dust themselves off and move on to the next game and hope they can get a positive result. 5-3 formation now. They just want this game to end. It's a sorry end.
Yes, it is. Mexico, low ball played in towards the edge of the area, and Gonzalez is after that, but then another challenge comes in. The referee's quickly over there as well, and just to make sure that there's no reaction after that challenge on the substitute Gonzalez.
A different type of player, isn't he, centre forward to Jimenez? Looks to be a runner. You could say speedy Gonzalez, John.
You could. He's the one that's named after the ant, by the way. His nickname is Hormiga, the ant, and he has been heavily influenced by Javier Hernandez, Mexico's record scorer, and they did play together right at the end of Javier Hernandez, Chicharito, remember, at the end of his career. 25 goals this season, been bang in form for Guadalajara, and now he's getting his chance for the first time at a World Cup, having come on for Raúl Jiménez. We are in the 90th minute of the opening match, and Mexico on the way to victory. I cannot wait to see what the reaction is like in this stadium and also in the city. Mexico, ball headed forward towards the edge of the area. Mora is there, he's challenged from behind, goes down, and South Africa are able to smuggle it away towards the halfway line, but the game has long gone for them. In fact, it's won back for Mexico by Edson Alvarez, who has then fouled himself, and that's a free kick to Mexico.
There's a theme, hasn't there, which has emerged throughout this game. In South Africa, they lose the ball and give away daft fouls. They just haven't found any sort of rhythm. Only before the game did they find rhythm.
So the 90 minutes are up. Here comes the fourth official, and he shows 7 minutes. Another 7 minutes of torture for South Africa. And we'll have to wait another 7 minutes before this party can begin. But actually, I'm looking at some of our colleagues down to our right. I think they're already heading off and getting this party started. To our left, people on their feet, beginning to head down the aisles towards the exits. Although you wouldn't want to leave this. You'd want to, if you're a true Mexican supporter, you would want to be here to sing Cielito Lindo right at the end of this match. Ball played forward for Gonzalez, passes it back out to the right-hand side, and then all the way back towards the halfway line to Reyes. Mexico now, of course they're dominating possession. They've got 2 extra men. Vega looks for a return pass just outside the penalty area. Challenge on Mora. The referee says get up, no foul. So South Africa take it away and actually do break forward. And there might be something here for them. Mudau. Oh, he's challenged as across comes Cesar Montes, took him out at the hip, sent him flying into the penalty area. That's a free kick. And really, That surely should be a yellow card for Cesar Montes.
Yellow, and yellow will suffice. Really good direct play.
Oh, it's a red card. He sent off the Mexican captain. Cesar Montes, a red card for that challenge. As Mudeo burst forward towards the edge of the penalty area. It's a third red card of the opening match. 2 for South Africa, and now Cesar Montes has shown red as well.
I suppose. Let's have another look. Was there a Mexican player getting round? I think that's harsh to be a red. I think there were Mexican defenders back. I mean, you look at the angle where I would have got a shot off. That seems to be a really harsh decision, that, on Montes, who's had an excellent afternoon up until now.
That's quite a blow for Mexico.
Yeah, it is.
To lose him.
He's a key defender for them.
Montes and Vasquez, this central defensive partnership, you know, that's what this team, this Aguirre team, has been based on. So a free kick.
He's trying to stay on the pitch. He's getting like ushered off.
He's not left the field yet. He's still in the 6-yard box. And he's still on the pitch. He's walking away towards the far side because the tunnel is actually on the opposite side of the ground to the dugouts here at the Azteca, and he has now finally crossed the white line.
I mean, it was a trip, wasn't it? I mean, it wasn't a wild challenge. I mean, the referee must be denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity.
I'm sure about that.
No, absolutely not. The angle which he would have got a shot off, and you know, the argument defenders would have got.
It wasn't a great challenge.
No,
but it wasn't a denial of a goal-scoring opportunity like the Sitoli foul was that led to his red card. It's a free kick, nevertheless. Mokwena is going to take this, or is it actually Mbakazi is there as well? Mokwena just places the ball. That's usually the sign of who will take it, but it could be Mbakazi. It's laid back to Mbakazi, but it's too late. The touch was too heavy, and the wall broke forward and just smashed it away downfield, and then fired forward for South Africa again, headed towards the halfway line.
It nearly was a one-on-one for Mexico. It was a free kick on the edge of the box. I mean, an appalling backheel, which probably went about 4 yards. I don't know what Mexican player nearly nicked it, and he would have been through on goal.
I mean, let's be honest about this match. Very often it's not been of the highest quality, has it?
some really poor play there once again.
Here's Mahopa chasing after it on the left-hand side. Back it comes to Apolis. South Africa in possession inside the Mexican half, but we're in the 5th minute of the 7 of added time. It's 2-0 to Mexico. 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. Oh, that's a poor pass as well, out towards the right for South Africa, straight out of play. And a throw into Mexico, level with the edge of their own penalty area. But they're gearing up now in the stands here, all around us. They're getting their Mexican flags ready. Those who still have their sombreros are probably going to throw them into the air as well when the final whistle goes. And all across Mexico tonight, people will not sleep. When I got here on Sunday morning, middle of the night, I couldn't believe it. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, and Mexico, it was like prime time Saturday night. The restaurants were packed. People were having a great time just at the start of World Cup week, and we felt that carry on. And yes, you know, there have been issues here in the protests, and various groups, the teachers have been making their point because the spotlight of the world is on them right now. So you can understand that. But let me make it absolutely clear that the enthusiasm for this World Cup in Mexico is great, and this will just heighten it. An opening win for the host nation as the ball's out of play for a throw into South Africa. We're just about there.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish, of course, but you just feel the start for the host nation like Mexico. Bit of uncertainty with the team going into this competition, but it's a building block, isn't it? It's a start, it's a foundation, and who knows how far this Mexican team can go. They've got some talented players, haven't they?
Yes, they have. Raul Jimenez scoring the second goal. So his first at the World Cup, but his 46th for Mexico, so he's now second on the all-time list behind Javier Hernandez. Mexico come forward again, maybe a final flourish from them. The cross from the left though from Vega is headed away as the sun begins to come out again here in Mexico City. The final few seconds of this match. We're into the last 30 seconds now, and we've had rain. Fortunately, it would appear that the heavy storms have stayed away, and this Mexican victory, and it will be a famous Mexican victory, is going to come in bright, warm Mexican sunshine. Free kick to South Africa. This will probably be the last play of the match. It's knocked square. There's no one up front for South Africa, the 9 men of South Africa. Long ball hit downfield. They're hoping that that's the final whistle. And it is now. And they certainly deserve it. 2-0, good winners against South Africa, who had 2 men sent off.
Yeah, brilliant start for Mexico. In their own backyard, they needed a win to get the belief within the country in this team, and off to the perfect start, and deservedly won. The moments of quality came from the home team, and they were cut above a sorry South African team who, really struggled, and it looks like they'll struggle to stay in the competition. Offered very little going forward. I suppose that the one sore note for Mexico would have been the sending off of Montes at the end, who's outstanding all afternoon. But what a start, what a stadium, what a decent